No one's looking. Can I give you a kiss?
The camera.
So we met right here in this office. Melissa arrived and she presented on economic research and all types of issues.
Research.
And it reminded me of years ago there was a company or an ad on TV about Remington, and it said, I liked the product so much I bought the company. In this case, I liked the presenter so much that it took me a while. The official story is that it took us a while. The true story is from there Melissa stalked me for a while and then eventually I gave in.
We had a wonderful friendship, and eventually, after a couple of months, Fred said to me, I really just want to date you. I don't want to be your friend. And at that time I said to him, but you're really not my type. And he was very persistent, and my mother said to me, well, what is your type? Because that hasn't really worked for you in the past, so perhaps it's time to try a far better model. And I'm so glad that I did.
Yeah, and then eventually she convinced me to marry her. Yeah, we got engaged and had the most beautiful wedding in the Midlands. And I'm very, very, very proud to call her my wife.
Thank you, madam. Fred said he suspected, but I just thought, no, it's just, it can't be. We tried for so long, but I was.
Initially, I wanted a little girl. But, you know, when I heard it was a little boy, and as this excitement grew, we couldn't wait for Sam to arrive. I got a phone call first thing in the morning, and the first words that I heard were, you're going to meet your son today. Melissa was lying in the theatre, and I was holding her hand, and the next minute the gynae came in, and then a senior gynae came in, and I knew that something was not right. Sam was born, and they just passed him over Melissa.
Straight to the
They wrapped him in cling wrap and said, come.
And I think Fred will always remember that pathway between the delivery room and the NICU.
Yeah, we went running down and we went straight into NICU. And there they fought for Sam's life for about 5 hours. And eventually they said, look, we'll just try once more. And they did. And Sam was fighting. And yeah, and then we went through a tough time, I suppose. We spent 13 and a half months in that hospital every day.
The next 13 and a half months were that roller coaster.
During that time, an endless amount of operations, endless times that people didn't give him a chance at all. Number of resuscitations, and Sam just kept fighting. He was a warrior.
It was a miracle.
And Melissa was his advocate, and Melissa was a warrior. She just put Sam first. And I remember 13 and a half months just holding Sam's hand and just playing music. I couldn't do much. Melissa did everything, but
no, nonsense. You did so much.
I just had two jobs. One was to hold his hand, and the other one was to make sure that I played music for him day and night. And I'd done a lot of research on music and the effect of music on babies.
We could see the future. We could see him getting stronger. We could see that there was so much hope. Everybody there held a lot of hope that he would start to move, even one day walk. In fact, they were sure he would be able to. And those kind of things, I think, make it hard for us, because we could see that there was a life ahead, a life with our son, and a life where we got to take him home. And it felt like it was stolen from us, because having been in hospital for so long, he had been exposed to nosocomial infections and superbugs, and you've always said he was a ticking time bomb. And we were literally 2 weeks from coming home, and in that time he'd grown stronger, he was doing amazing things, and then he got sepsis.
during Sam's entire life, Sam just impacted people, and we realized that Sam had a message and Sam had a purpose. On the passing of Sam, which happened on the Friday morning, we walked outside and there was this incredible rainbow, and we just knew that this story had to be told.
And I think he started telling it long before we did. And I always said I never understood why Sam had to die. I didn't understand why we went through so many terribly critical situations where he could have died and yet he didn't. And it's almost like I really do believe that he had to do the full circle. He had to go through all of these things so that we would have that information to impart. And Sam was a child who spoke to the nation. He spoke to everybody. And it didn't matter who you were, he just touched your heart. And everybody just engaged with him and with us on the most incredible level. And I think that's where you really saw the need for the trust.
Yeah, there were two promises I made to Sam during his life. The one was very early on, when I promised him I would do everything possible to give him whatever chance we could. And the second one was when he died in my arms. We promised him that his legacy would live on. And whether it was at his funeral or at his memorial. And I think here was this little boy that had lived for 15 and a half months. And he had a funeral in Cape Town with about 300 or 400 people, and a memorial in Johannesburg with probably double that. And he had touched so many other lives, and we realized that we had to formalize what we were doing and to give life to this vision of our boy. And that's where we established the Footprints4Sam Trust. And the principles of that was really that we wanted to firstly ensure the highest possible level of governance. So we would set up a trust that would protect his legacy and ensure that they would
outlive us.
Would outlive us, and there would never be a question around how the trust is run. And the second thing is that we would go out and make a meaningful difference in the lives of parents and children like Sam. Yeah. You know, we came from a very advantaged background. We had everything. We had the networks. We had everything within our power, but we were powerless. And we realized that there are so many parents out there who need a voice, who need support, who need advocacy, and in some cases, who just need food. Many of these families are sent home after 12 or 13 months or 15 months in hospital. They get home, there's no food in the house, so we just want to ensure that when they get there, that there's food in the house for when they arrive. That's the passion that drives us, drives the foundation. On an advocacy level, just patient-centered healthcare, looking after the family, understanding that a child is not on their own, but that they're part of a family, part of a community, and that you're not only treating a symptom, but you're treating a child. And just putting the child's name back. It's not patient so-and-so, patient 14 in the bed with whatever disease. It's Samuel.
Sam was a blessed child of God, and we just see that his purpose is touching lives all over the world. And I think that just the one image that really touched me in that week that he was dying, because he was I came out from the ICU and Fred was sitting on a bench with another man that he'd never met, who was obviously a very poor man, a beautiful man, who was sitting there in ragged clothes and barefoot. And as Fred sat down next to him and put his arm around him, they were just two dads, desperately hoping for a miracle. And that's what Sam's legacy is about, giving hope and offering some form of miracle in a really, really, really sad and difficult space when your child is ill. Something no parent should ever have to go through.